As infamous psychopathic serial killer Ted Bundy once said, "We are serial killers, are your sons, are your husbands, we are everywhere, and there will be more of your children dead tomorrow." This is a gruesome quote, but it does kind of get to the point of how a psychopathic serial killer thinks. So who Ted Bundy was is he was responsible for over 100 women's murders, and he only admitted to 30 of those murders before he was sentenced to death by an electric chair. Ted Bundy is one of an examples of who a psychopathic serial killer is, and who a psychopathic is defined by dictionaryreference.com, a person suffering from a chronic mental disorder with abnormal or violent social behavior. And you can see that in Ted Bundy's actions. And how we analyze how he's a psychopath and not only a serial killer is from criminal profiling. And the definition from Collins Dictionary of criminal profiling is the analysis of a person's psychological and behavioral characteristics, so to assess whether they are likely to commit a crime or not under investigation. So now I want to explain some examples of psychopathic serial killers are Jeffrey Dahmer and John Wayne Gacy, and I'm going to explain them who and what they did in my further slides. But first, I want to go over the characteristics of a psychopath so we can analyze these serial killers. So I went on to How to Spot a Psychopath, written by Fernham, Dowd, and Swamy. And some of the main psychopathic characteristics that they gave was that they're very social. They know how to talk at events, they know how to communicate with people, and not only that, they're very intelligent and know how to manipulate people. And research and studies have found that psychopaths tend to usually be men rather than women. And they always have a high criminal record. It's rarely seen where there's no crime in their background. And it's hard for psychopaths to get to a deep personal level with other people, so they're standoffish in that way with their relationships. And I put this shirt up here because, ironically, psychopaths want to be the center of attention. They always want to have everybody looking at them. So now we can apply these psychopathic characteristics to some of the serial killers I've mentioned before, like John Wayne Gacy. So who John Wayne Gacy was a man who murdered 33 men and boys. His gruesome tactic was to dress up as a clown and attract his victims that way and entertain at kids' parties, which is very sick. But he also, another psychotic characteristic is he thought he was innocent, and I even put a quote up there that says, "In my heart, as God is my witness, I never killed anyone." So you can see how we can attribute those psychopathic characteristics to John Wayne Gacy. And also the serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. And Jeffrey Dahmer was responsible for 17 murders of men and boys. And what his tactic was is he would slip drugs into people's drinks and then take them back to his house and murder them and disgustingly fill up a tub full of acid and put their corpse in there, or behead them and keep their heads in refrigerators. Jeffrey Dahmer actually went on a killing spree for a long time, and the closest that the cops came to catching him was once when the neighbors called the cops on Jeffrey Dahmer, and they said that he was outside with a boy who was unclothed and bloody, and the cops came to question him, and he said that the boy was drunk and he was trying to help his partner back in the house. The cops actually helped Jeffrey Dahmer back in the house with the boy, and he later murdered the boy. But eventually Jeffrey Dahmer was caught. And I got this information all from Newsweek.com. And so next I want to talk about how we profile these serial killers. So I have a quick clip from Criminal Minds.
When we first met, your partner was sarcastic, said yes ma'am. You instinctively reached for your detective shield as if you were protecting him. That tells me you don't like him disrespecting the chain of command. But you're also loyal, so you didn't say something to him. I'd say you were military, probably an officer. Praise in public, censor in private, right? You're right-handed, but you have two different color pen marks on your left hand. I guess you have a toddler at home, just learning how to draw. You don't wear a ring, and you were quick to flirt with me. So you're happy to let people think you are a player. But if I took you up on it, you would run for the hills. Because you love your wife, and you would never actually cheat on her.
can see, sorry that was quiet, but you can see how she was analyzing him and attributing it to traits, like personality traits, and that is what criminal profiling is. But the 4 basic criminal profiling aspects, according to American Psychological Association, is first the antecedent, so what was the murderer's motives to kill this person. Second is method and manner, what type of victim or victims was the murder after. Body disposal, what and where did they put the body after the murder. And post-offense behavior, is the murderer interested in the media? So it's usually psychopaths are very interested in their case over media. And so, in conclusion, psychopaths can be anyone, like Ted Bundy said, and you can see that in the 6 characteristics that I put up could attribute to a normal person. And a majority of serial killers are psychopaths, and we determine this through criminal profiling, like I defined earlier. Ted Bundy, John Wayne, and Jeffrey Dahmer are amongst the greatest examples of how a psychopathic serial killer thinks and acts. And so, since I opened up with a haunting quote, I thought it was only fitting to finish this presentation with a quote from poet W.H. Auden from Criminal Minds about murder. Murder is unique in that it abolishes the party it injures, so that society must take the place of the victim and on his behalf demand atonement or grant forgiveness. Thank you.